all, and just let's start today's class. And before to start, I would like to say, just use your pen and paper so that you can, if you find anything is important, you can just note down. Because the very beautiful thing of these 10 MCQs, you are going to get, or you are going to learn the 10 different concepts just related to the 10 MCQs. Okay, so let's start today's class. And if you're new on the Officer Center 247, just hit the subscribe button so that you can get regular update from our side, and just download the Adda 247 application so that you can get everything at a one place. Okay, so let's start today's class. And before to start, I just want to say, Eid Mubarak to all once again. And like on this special day, we are offering the 80% discount for all the JAIIB CAIIB batches, as well as a mock test ebooks. Okay, so you are going to get a flat 80% off, and the only thing that you have to do, just apply the code Y422, and with this code you are going to get the flat 80% off on all the JAB and CAP products, right? And the another thing that, our target batch is started, and the few classes only there has been done. So now this is a time when you should just gear up your preparation with our batches. So just enroll fast, because there are limited seats available for this also. And there are, there are a number of the things you are going to get through this batches, and that is a very important thing, like the ebooks, mock test, and the live classes. And after live classes, you are also going to get these classes on the recorded format. Okay, so that is a very beautiful thing of this. And the only thing that you have to do, just use the code Y422, and with this code you are going to get a big discount on the this batch also. Okay, at the last of this lecture, I will also explain this, how you can enroll in the batches. So quickly, let's start today's class. And hoping that now everyone just joined at this class, and just hit the like button, guys. Okay, hit the like button and share this video to your friends, so that maximum number of our bankers can join with us in this session. So let's start with this first question. Just tell me what would be the answer of this question. Like, we have to calculate the current ratio. And the very important thing, you are going to understand like different type of the questions. Okay, so that you can understand the different type of the concept as well. So just write down if you're finding anything is important. I just said this thing like in all the of the my lectures. Okay, so like how to calculate the current ratio, and this is a very important thing, because this is certain that you are going to get the question based on these kind of the data, like the current ratio, tax, total liabilities, non-current liabilities. So you just have to know about this, right? So whenever we have to find out the current ratio, how we can just find out, just you can just understand here, the total liabilities are given, non-current liabilities are given, quick assets are given, advanced taxes are given. The very first thing that you have to know, that what is the formula for the current ratio. Anybody can tell me what is the formula for the current ratio? That is the current asset, and it would be divided by the what is current liabilities, right? So current ratio formula, that is current asset, and it would be divided by the current liabilities. Now you can see here that no any direct information is provided you in this particular question. Neither you are just watching here that is the current asset, nor you are watching the current liabilities. How you can calculate this, right? So whenever we're talking about the total liabilities, you can just I think everyone just knows that the total liabilities, that is equal to the current liabilities and plus non-current liabilities, right? So that we can understand here. So from these two information, we actually derive the current liabilities, isn't it? Just tell me, isn't it? Everyone just understanding this? Okay. So you can understand here, whenever we're talking about the total liabilities, that is equal to the current liability plus non-current liabilities. So now we have to find out from these two information, that is the current liability. That is the very first thing. Okay, so if I have to find out the current liability, how we can just find out here? You know that the total liabilities, that is given the 2,30,000 minus non-current liabilities, that would be the 50,000. All right, so that the current liability, that would be the 1,80,000 rupees. So the two type of the questions that can be asked. Suppose that the question that may be asked, like find out the value of the current liabilities. So you can also just know about that, how to find out the current liabilities, right? And now you have to find out the current asset. Okay, so whenever we are talking about the current asset, and you just know that whenever we are talking about the quick asset, so that is a certain that that is a very important thing, that every quick asset is also the current asset, but every current asset is not also be the quick asset. Okay, just example, that is a advanced tax. Advanced tax is a current asset but not the quick asset. prepaid expenses is the current asset but not the quick asset. Okay, so inventory, that is a current asset but not the quick asset. Okay, so you have to understand here the current asset. If we have to find out the current asset with the help of these two, we know that the quick asset plus, okay, and we are talking about the advanced tax, that is a part of your current asset, not the quick asset. So that you only have to just add here in the quick asset, and from this you can just find out like what would be the value of this. So quickly tell me what would be the answer of this, like current asset that would be equal to the quick asset, the value which is of 20,000 plus 50,000, and that would be equal to the 90,000, right? So the value of the current asset that would be the 90,000, and current liabilities that would be the 1,80,000. So what would be the answer of this current ratio? Right, that is a 2:1. And sometimes in the examination you may also get the options like the 2 times, 3 times. Okay, so you should have just prepared for that. Okay, so that means where you have to just mark the option that is a 2 times. You just do not have to be confused with the questions there. So that's how we solve the questions. Okay, I'm hoping that you will just understanding this. Now just try to solve the another question that is also a very nice question, and based on this you are also going to get the question, because whenever we're talking about the balance sheet equation, so you can just provide it with a certain type of the questions, right? Like the simple questions like the point 0.5 marks question, 1 marks question, as well as if the question is like is if the examiner just want to ask you in the 2 marks question, so this kind of the question that may be asked. Okay, right? So here you have to just the all the information that is provided, and just quickly tell me what would be the answer of this, like the business info information of the Mr. X that is given below. And based on this, like you have to find out the additional capital that is introduced in the business during the year 2021. All right, so how to calculate this? You just do not have to be confused. Okay, just keep it simple. Okay, so we are talking about, suppose that this is a financial year starting. All right, so suppose that we are talking about the financial year starting like the 2020, the financial year that is started. Suppose that, okay, we are talking about, just for example, we are talking about like suppose that 1st of April, we are talking about the 1st of April 2020. All right, so now we are just starting from here, so you can understand the opening capital is given. Okay, so you can understand the opening capital, what it is given, the that is given the 1,30,000 rupees, just right here. Now drawings during the year, that is 50,000. You can understand the opening capital is given and the drawings that you can have to deduct. Okay, so just deduct here, that is 50,000. All right, now, the closing capital is given. Just wait for the closing capital, because closing capital is of your like the 31st of March 2021. Just wait for that. Okay. Now, yeah, we are also going to understand the profit made during the year. That means what is the profit during the year? So you have to there just summation of that, or just add this value like the 1 lakh here. Okay, so what would be the value of this? Just calculate what would be the value of this. So this would be the 2 lakh 30, and that would be certainly 1,80,000, right? So that means this should be the closing capital. Okay, this should be the closing capital, or you can also understand the 1,80,000 rupees, this should be closing capital. But you are just understanding here the closing capital, that is a 2 lakh rupees. Okay, so now you can just tell me what will be the answer of this. That would be the 20,000 rupees. Look how simply we can just solve the questions in the examination. So that would be the answer. And you can understand here that the examiner only want to check your knowledge, not your calculation skills. Okay, you can understand the orally you can also solve this kind of the question in the examination. The thing is, right, you have to be so specific in your approach. Okay, so like I just solved this question, you can also just solve this. So here the only thing that you have to do, the 2 lakh minus 1,80,000, and your answer that would be the 20,000 rupees. That would be considered as a additional capital that is introduced in the business during the year 2021. Okay, I'm hoping that we're just understanding this. Just hit the like button, guys. Okay, I'm just watching here, the like is so much less here. Just hit the like button, guys. Okay, and next question: the assets which are convertible into cash or cash equivalents within a year. Okay, so what we know about that? the assets which are convertible into cash. So if I talk about the assets, okay, so you can understand whenever we are talking about like just leave this current asset, just understand the total asset and the one category that is a non-current asset and another category that is your current asset. Okay, so whenever we're talking about the non-current asset, you can understand whenever we're talking about the non-current asset we are talking about like the assets we have, okay, and we can convert into cash or cash equivalent beyond 1 year, okay, beyond 1 year, so that asset is known as a non-current asset. Okay, and whenever we're talking about the current asset, so you can understand that asset that can be converted into cash within a year. So definitely you can understand here that it is a kind of the long-term investment. Non-current asset is the kind of the long-term investment, and the current asset is a type of the short-term investment. Okay, so the correct answer that would be here, the assets which are convertible into cash or cash equivalents within a year are known as what? That is the current asset. The correct answer that would be the current asset here. Okay, next question. According to inventory turnover ratio, what would be the formula of this? Can anybody tell me what would be the answer of this question? Like I always say, in the ratio analysis chapter, you just do not need to memorize any kind of the formula. You just do not need to memorize. You only have to you should, by my lectures you are just able to just write by your own the all the formula. Okay, so if I'm talking about the inventory turnover ratio, how to formulate this? So we know that the inventory turnover ratio, if I have to formulate, so you can understand that turnover is actually related to the sales. Okay, and in the accounting, we can understand whenever we are talking about any business, we cannot calculate anything for the sale, because there will be some stock that also remain in the factory. We also have to consider that. That's why we are not using the sales, we are using actually the cost of sales, or you can also understand the cost of goods sold. Okay, now inventory, we can understand inventory is just related to your stock, and the stock, the stock is the only thing that whenever we are talking about like any financial year, that is for any firm, for any factory. Okay, so there would be some opening is for opening stock, and there will be some closing stock. So if I'm talking about like we have to formulate the inventory turnover ratio, so you can just understand here that would be equal to the average inventory. Okay, so this is how we can just understand the inventory turnover ratio, that is your cost of sales, or you can also just understand the cost of goods sold, and that would be divided by the average inventory. Okay, and whenever we're talking about the average inventory, that is equal to the opening stock plus closing stock, and it would be divided by the two. Okay, so the question that may be asked like in this format, or that can also be asked in this format, like cost of goods sold, and it would be divided by the your opening stock plus closing stock, and it would be divided by the two. So this is this is also the way the question that may be asked in the examination. So you should just have to know about this also. So the correct answer of this question, that would be the first part, that is the cost of goods sold, and it would be divided by the average inventory. All right, now the next question. The assets which are convertible into cash or cash equivalents within a year are known as. Okay, I think this is kind of the question we actually discussed in the previous question. I think it is a kind of the repetitive questions we just frame here. Okay, so the correct answer of this, that the assets which are convertible into cash or cash equivalents within a year, so that is known as a current asset. And if I ask that the asset which are convertible into cash or cash equivalent beyond a year, suppose that the question is the beyond a year, so what asset that would be considered as? That would be the fixed asset. Okay, and you can also understand that would be the non-current asset. Okay, so that would be the non-current asset, that there would be the answer, that is a non-current asset. Okay, all right, so now the next question. Which one of the following is limitation of the computerized accounting system? In the computerized accounting system, you are just going to read the three type of the main softwares. There you are going to understand the very first, that ready to use. Okay, the another one, that is a customized, right? and the another one that is a tailor-made, right? So another one that is a tailor-made. So these are the three basic types of your computerized accounting system. And whenever we're talking about what are the limitations of the computerized accounting system, so you have to understand that what is the limitation. So you can understand that would be the staff opposition, that is correct. That is a very high cost, that is also correct. Okay, adverse effect on the health, you can understand whenever we're talking about the any like the computerized accounting system, that would also adverse effect on the health, that also would be the correct here. So the correct answer of this, that would be the all of the above. That would be the correct answer of this question. Okay, I think it is understandable for everyone. There is nothing so much to understand here. That is a very obvious to understand, like what are the limitations of the computerized accounting system. So staff opposition, you can understand that is a staff opposition, high cost, and the adverse effect on the health, that all would be the correct here. Okay, so now the next question, now again the numerical you have to do. Just try to solve by your own. Just try to just solve by your own. After that I will just explain you how to calculate this kind of the question in the examination. So whenever we're talking about like again the question is about like how to calculate the capital. Okay, and whenever we're talking about this kind of the question, you should just have to know like capital of the mystery in the beginning, that is given 70,000 rupees, right? So here you can understand the capital of the mystery in the beginning of the year was 70,000. So just write in this way, that is 70,000, right? After that, during the year his business earned a profit of the 20,000 rupees. Okay, all right. So during the year the business earned a profit of the 20,000 rupees also. He withdrew the 7,000 rupees his personal use. So what he does, that he actually withdrew the 7,000 rupees for his personal use. He further invested 20,000 amount into business. He further invested 20,000 rupees like amount into the business. So find out the capital at the end of the year. So we have to just find out the capital at the end of the year. So just tell me what would be the answer of this. Now you can just, I think you all just able to just solve this question. So 70 plus 20, that is a 90, that okay, 90,000. 90,000 minus 7,000, that would be the 83,000, and 83,000 plus 20,000, that would be the 1,03,000. So you can just understand how complicated this question is looking. But when you're just going to solve like this way, whenever you're going to get the question of the capital, you are going to solve like in this way. Okay, this process is a much easy to understand, and as well as a much easy to solve as well. You can just also may solve this kind of the question a very simple way. Okay, so this is the like you can just solve the questions of the capital. Okay, so I think everyone just understand this also. Now the next question: if an organization wants to develop a computerized accounting system according to its needs, as per the business of the organization is complex, which software should opt for? Okay, so now just understand the very important thing, like I just explained in the previous slide, that there are three kinds of the, or there are three types of the computerized accounting system that you are going to read, like the ready to use software, customized software, and the tailor-made software. And whenever we're talking about the ready to use software, that is easily available in the market. Customized software, that is especially designed for the specific organization. Or you can also understand the specific types of the organization. So specific type of the organization, specific type of the business, the customized software is used. And when we talk about the tailor-made software, it is just used for the single person, single company, single organization. Just a minute. Single company, single organization. Okay, so that is a very important thing what I told you here. Now you can just tell me what would be the answer of this. Suppose that any organization wants to develop a computerized accounting system according to its need, as a business of the organization is complex. So here we are talking about an organization. That means here we are talking about the one organization that just want to develop its own computerized accounting system based on its needs. Okay, so here the correct option, that would be the tailor-made software. You may confuse between the customized software and the tailor-made software. You can understand here that customized software is just for the specific types of the organization and businesses, but the tailor-made is for the single person, single organization, single business, that you have to understand here. Okay, I'm hoping that you just understood this. Next question. So what are the advantages of the tailor-made software? You can understand the tailor-made software when we talk about the tailor-made software, because it is specially designed for the single person, single business, single organization. So you can understand that actually leads to the high cost. Okay. So that is the disadvantages, that is a high cost, but we are talking about the advantages. So the advantages is the high accuracy of the data. Okay, so that is a very important thing that you have to memorize, that the advantages of the tailor-made software, that is the high accuracy of the data. And we are talking about the most important disadvantages of this, that it would be the high cost. Okay, so that would be the answer of this question. Now the next question, liquid assets is determined by. So how do you just how you can just give this give the answer of this question, like liquid assets is determined by. Whenever we're talking about the liquid asset or liquid ratio, the very important thing that you have to understand, like whenever you are going to solve the question, because you may confuse between the liquid asset. Okay, so liquid is not liquid is just your quick, like you can understand, you have to formulate the quick asset here. Okay, so if the question is like the you have to formulate the liquid ratio, so you have to understand actually you have to find out the quick ratio. Okay, and if you just finding out the liquid acid, that means you have to find out the quick acid here, right? So this is how we actually solve the questions in the examination, right? For this, like liquid acid, if the liquid is given. So now what would be the answer of this question? Anybody? Yes, 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 very correct answer. That is your current asset minus stock minus prepaid expenses. The correct answer, that would be your A. Because we all know that, we know that stock is a current asset but not the quick asset, because stock, that is also understandable as a inventory. Okay, inventory. So stock is a current asset. Okay, prepaid expenses is also the current asset, is not the quick asset. So when we just going to deduct the stock and the prepaid expenses from the current asset, we actually formulate the liquid asset here. So that would be your correct answer of this question. I'm hoping that we just understood this. And the very nice attempt for like these all 10 MCQs, and everyone just gave the correct answer of the 10 MCQs. The very nice to see here. Okay, so now I just want to tell you here that our JIB courses, that actually you can just enroll in our JIB courses, and that is available in the bilingual as well as the English medium batches. So where I'm just your AB faculty, and in the English medium sessions I just take. So you can also just join here, and with the code of the buy 422 you are going to get a big discount on this. And the another thing that you can also just enroll in the test packs. That means that is the mock tests are very important for your preparation, that actually gives the final test to your preparation. Okay, so if you just ask me that how important of the test mock test is, so I will just say the mock test is actually gives the final test to your preparation. So this is also a very convenient price. You are going to get the flat 22% on this with the code of the buy 422. So just hurry up guys and just enroll fast here. Okay, so I'm hoping that we just understood this, how to just how you should just do the questions whatever we are discussed here. So thank you everyone for joining me here, and just hit the like button, and just share this video to your friends, to your colleagues, and just subscribe the channel so that you can get regular update from our side. And now we will meet on the tomorrow at the same time. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining me in this session.